And we're rocking. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ages of Film Rebirth. This is the dawn of a new era on the channel that I'm starting up. Took a little bit of a hiatus there towards the end of 2025, but we're back. We're rocking in 2026. Starting off with a Scream franchise review series leading up to the premiere of Scream 7. Which I will give. I plan on seeing opening weekend. Gonna give a review, a spoiler-free review of Scream 7, and then at the end we'll do a full Scream ranking video, which should be fun. Big fan of this film. Love this original movie. Always have. I see it at least once a year, and I think Scream as a franchise is arguably the most consistent franchise as far as quality. I don't think there's a bad film in the series. You guys will kind of see that as we go through these films. I don't think there's a bad Scream movie. I think they're all really solid. And this original Scream is, it's up there for me as far as not just in this franchise, but horror movies as a whole. Scream is going to rank really high on that list for me. So love this original film. Directed by Wes Craven, R.I.P. To the legend. Released in 1996, starring Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott, our final girl. I gotta say, Sidney, probably my favorite final girl. I know, I go back and forth a lot between Sidney Prescott and Ellen Ripley from the Alien franchise, played brilliantly by Sigourney Weaver. Both of those characters kind of go back and forth for me on who is my favorite final girl. But if I was pressed on it and you're going to ask me to choose one, I'm probably going to lean towards Sidney Prescott. I just love the character. She's strong. She's a leader. She's smart. There's a lot of personality to her. And I love her resilience, the resilience that she shows even through all the trauma and craziness that's going on around her. She stays strong. She doesn't give in, doesn't give up, and she remains, quite frankly, a badass all the way through this series. And I like that. I love Sydney as a girl, as a final girl, and I love seeing her in this film. There's so many things that I like with this movie. Not going to spend too much time on the negatives because, quite frankly, I don't really have any negatives with this film as far as things that I don't like about the film. There isn't really any. Nothing really significant enough for me to address it. So this is basically just going to be a review of all positives and things that I like. The cast of characters as a whole, I love. I love Sidney Prescott in this film. Seeing kind of her emotional arc that she goes through, seeing that resilience start to manifest itself in this film as she learns about this psycho killer that's killing off these students, learns about her mother's death and the secrets of what went on there, and I think all of these struggles, these internal struggles that Sydney is dealing with, bring out the best of that character. And I love that she's a fighter. She's straightforward, and she's a girl and a person of integrity. And that's something that I really respect and admire with that character. I like a lot of the supporting characters in the film, her group of friends. I love Dewey, Officer Dewey in this film, and really throughout the series. Dewey is one of my favorite characters in this franchise. I think that I believe it's David Arquette is his name, the actor that plays him. Just brings a lot of charm to that role. It's hard not to like Dewey, man. Like he's a likable guy, has a very natural charm to the character. He doesn't feel like he's overplaying it, like he's trying too hard to make you like him, but it doesn't feel like he's not putting in any effort either. Like he feels right on key, right where he should be with this character. And I really like the kind of quirkiness about him that's natural. He knows who he is, and he kind of just owns that. You know, he's someone that isn't trying to be someone else. He's kind of someone that's just, he knows he's kind of quirky, knows he's a little different, and just he owns it, man. And I love that about him. But also a lot of courage, a guy that's going to run towards the gunfire and not away from it. So a very likable character. I do like Gale Weathers in this film. I think she brings a lot of sass and attitude towards it, to it, where, you know, you have Dewey, who brings kind of a lot of charm and this kind of sweetness to him. I think Gale plays off of that, and she brings kind of that attitude and the sass to Dewey's kind of soft, lovable quirkiness. And I think those two blend really well together in this film. So I like Gale as a character. I think she's a good addition to the film as a supporting character. I don't think she distracts from the film, but I also think she adds just enough personality to the film to make it really enjoyable and entertaining. And then, you know, some of the other, the girl, Sydney's friend in this one, I think it's Dewey's sister. I forget the character's name. I even like her. I think she's kind of that warm, sincere friend to Sydney that Sydney needs to kind of confide in. But also, she's a friend that will also speak the truth to Sydney when Sydney needs to hear it. And I think that was a good addition for Sydney's sake to have that character there for her. Randy's another one of my favorite characters of the franchise. Also brings a lot of personality. He's kind of that film nerd I think a lot of us can relate to. I can relate to that. You know, I was kind of that film nerd in school who was always wanting to talk about movies and stuff with my friends. So I get it. And you know, he brings a lot of resonance to the audience, in my opinion, with his kind of film nerdum, if you will. So just a great cast of characters here that I really like and enjoy. The villains, the Ghostface killers, which are obviously Stu Mockhart and Billy Loomis. Man, my two favorite Ghostface characters in this franchise. I love both of these. The combo of Billy and Stu is just so good, man. Specifically, Billy is my favorite Ghostface killer. He's so naturally psychotic. Like, after you see the film the first time and you know who the killers are, when you come back to the film on rewatch, you see the psychopathy of Billy throughout the film, how it's just kind of, you know, building internally in him. And Stu, you see it in Stu too, but Billy is really kind of the brainchild behind the tag team, behind the duo. He's really kind of the one calling the shots there. And I love that character, how twisted he is, the way that he messes with Sydney. It's messed up, it's morbid, but it makes for a really good antagonist and really good character. You know, your protagonist is only as strong as your antagonist. And so when you have a really good antagonist and main killer, which in this case is Billy, it makes the plot and the tension much more believable, but you buy in more to it as well. So love the combo of Billy and Stu. Their personalities play off well. You know, Stu's kind of the crazy, eccentric, over the top personality, and then you have Billy, who's more the grounded, twisted, you know, intense of the two, and just seeing how twisted these two are in that third act when they're stabbing each other, shooting each other. You just see like how twisted these guys are. And I love that, going back to this film on rewatches and just seeing the hints of the psychopathy in both of these characters along the way. Love both of them as Ghostface. I also really like the story here. I like the overall premise, how Kevin Williamson, who's the script writer, kind of flip the slasher formula, if you will, on its head. Instead of having one killer, the same killer that comes back in every film with a new cast of characters to kill off, like Michael, like Freddy, like Jason, what he does is he flips that and he brings the same group of characters back throughout the film with a new killer or killers. But in this one here, what he also does brilliantly is gives us two killers, which I don't think have really been done before, like this in a slasher type of film, where the formula was always the one killer picks off the cast of characters one by one, and then there's the big whodunit mystery reveal in the final act, and you see who the killer was. Here, it's two killers, and so that formula allows you to answer certain plot conveniences with, well, if it wasn't this killer, then it was the other killer. You know what I mean? So it's just a brilliant way to do it. Very ambitious in that regard, doing something different, changing the formula up, reviving it, rescuing it, because quite frankly, in the early 90s, there really wasn't much going on successfully in the slasher genre. You still had some really great horror films. You had Silence of the Lambs, you had Candyman, you had The Crow. So you still had some really great horror films, but the slasher subgenre was really struggling at this time. And Kevin Williamson and Wes Craven together revived that, and they saved that with this new formula that they created, with the story that they were telling and the way that they told it. Just brilliant stuff, man. And it's so original and creative while still giving you a lot of those slasher tropes that you want. Really good looking ghost face persona, the black robes and with the white ghost face, just very iconic, something that's going to stick out and resonate and stick with you. You know what I mean? But also give you a lot of stabs, a lot of that blood and gore that a lot of slasher fans love to see. So just, a great script, very well written, in my opinion, and thoroughly enjoyed the story. The emotional payoff at the end for Sydney is earned. It's not something that feels forced. She earns her victory at the end. And really all the characters, Gail, she almost gets killed in this film. She earns that victory. Dewey, I mean, dude, how many times does Dewey get stabbed throughout this series franchise? I don't even know. But I love that the emotional payoffs for these characters are earned. It's not forced. And each of the main characters have an actual role to play in this film. They're not just wasted characters. Like a lot of slasher films, the characters are, they're just there to get killed off. They're just there for carnage candy, right? But here, the main cast are all there to actually serve a purpose for the plot of the film. They're not just wasted carnage candy, cannon fodder characters to just get stabbed and killed off like so many other characters in slasher films. And I like that. It makes the characters actually have a significant role to play in the film. So I really like the writing, the script, how the characters are written and presented. Really enjoy it. I thought the directing by Wes Craven, I also really enjoy how he directs this film. The opening sequence, so iconic, still to this day. stands out as arguably the best of this franchise. That opening sequence with Drew Barrymore, who you think is going to be, you know, the main girl just because her face is on the front of the movie poster. She's built to be the final girl, and then she gets RIP'd pretty early on in the film. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. But yeah, just the way that Craven shoots that whole opening sequence is just brilliant. The phone call, the movie trivia, you know, the nods to Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. Love all that stuff. And then the kill of Drew Barrymore in the opening act is just so iconic, you know. And what a sight too. Like the vision of that character hanging from the tree outside that her, you know, her parents' house when they discover her body is, you know, that image stuck with me for a while after I saw this film the first time. Back when I was, you know, I was pretty young when I saw it this first time. I wasn't, you know, like a kid necessarily, but I think probably early teens, 12, 13, somewhere around there. And that left an impact, man. It's, you know, it is a horror film in that sense. But Wes Craven also, I thought, did a really great job at towing a very fine line between horror, but also self-awareness of the comedy that's in there. Like there is some comedy throughout the film, but it's not at the characters' expenses. It's not at the story's expense. It's a meta film that knows what it is. It's self-aware of what it is, but it also takes it serious. And it also gives you a lot of things that you want in a horror film. And that's a hard tonal balance to navigate. And I think Wes Craven pulls that off really well. So nods to Craven, man, for being able to pull that off. So really love his direction in the film. His misdirects, I thought, were really well handled and set up good. How he kind of leads you to think it's going to be Billy Loomis, but then Billy gets arrested and he's in jail when another kill happens. So that double killer dynamic also, again, is brilliant because it allows you to actually buy that Billy's not the killer. And then when the reveal happens, you discover, oh, shoot, there's two killers in here. So, no, it is perfectly possible. But just the way that Craven directs some of those sequences, the misdirection, and the way that he uses the camera to make you see exactly what he wants you to see, Ghostface in the background a number of times, and the building the tension up to the climax in the third act. Is just very well done, and love how Craven directs the film. I love the performances by the actors. I think they're all right on key. Each actor brings their own personality and charm to the character. They act the character that's on script. They don't try to overplay it. They don't underplay it. I think they all hit the note right on key. And it's just a fun 90s film, man. It puts me back in the 90s, you know, has a lot of nostalgia for me. I remember, you know, the mid late 90s era, and, you know, the clothes that kids wore, the music that we listened to, you know, that 90s, especially like late 90s grunge rock type of movement. I love that stuff, man. So I love the vibe of this film. I love the setting, you know, the high school, and then, you know, the house party in the third act. I think it's at, whose house was it at? Was it at, it wasn't at Sydney's house. Was that Billy Loomis's house, or Stu's house maybe? I love the setting there, you know, because I've been there, you know, as, you know, a high schooler. I remember going to those type of parties at your friend's house, and you have a big group of friends. You're all kicking it together, hanging out, watching movies, you know, doing stupid, you know, high school kids stuff. Yeah, so I love the setting, love the vibe. Love all the nods to, you know, Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street and all the horror movie references in this film. I love it all. And yeah, just a brilliant film. So, again, negatives, I don't really have any for this film. There's not really anything I don't like with Scream. It's a great film. I love it. It's very rewatchable as well. It's very entertaining from start to finish. I never get bored. I never get, you know, restless or, you know, I never get taken out of the film. There's nothing in the film that annoys me or like really bothers me enough to deduct points from the film. Like, to me, this is subjectively speaking, this is a perfect film. So overall, my thoughts here, my rating, I'm going to give Scream a 5-star review. 5 out of 5 for me. Love this film, guys. Again, one of my favorite horror films of all time. Never gets old. Still holds up really well. Great characters, great direction, great script, great villain, and reveal twist at the end. So there you go, guys. Those are my thoughts on Scream 1996. But what are your thoughts? Do you agree with my rating? Do you love this franchise? Is this your favorite Scream film? Let me know anything and everything about Scream 1996 that you want to let me know in the comments section. And until next time, you freaks, kick it and rock on.